Hi Sheddies, it's me, Eddie Stevens. I'm back in my shed at the ridiculous time of 11:11. Make a wish. That's a thing, right? 11:11, you make a wish. People talk about the number 11:11 with numbers 11:11. And I've always thought it was like you make a wish, but maybe it's not that. I don't know what it is. Is that a thing? It is in America, maybe not in England. What a stupid start. It's 11:11 p.m. That's my time, my lucky time where you make a wish. On a Tuesday night. I would have done this much earlier because, as you know, I'm a stickler for getting this out at the perfect time on a Tuesday. I'm never late. I never make mistakes. It's like clockwork. Speaking of which, I need to fix my clock in the other room. Because the clocks don't always work, do they? But tonight, or rather today, when I was wanting to do my podcast, I had to arrange for and meet a tow truck driver to tow my car away. So this is what happened. Some of you may know that I have a trip to Denver coming up on Friday, in a few days' time, with my son. We're going to go watch the band I Don't Know How But They Found Me, which is not a good name for a band. It's hard to say. I don't know how but they found me. I don't know how but they found me. I'm saying it fine, but you know, it's a bit of a mouthful. They usually abbreviate it to IDKHBTFM. I think it's a Back to the Future reference, isn't it? Marty, they found me. I don't know how, but they found me. But anyway, they're an amazing band, and we're going to see them in Denver on Friday. So, as you can imagine, I was quite upset when driving 2 days ago, my car started to break down. And it's an old car, but is this recording? I don't think it is. Oh, it is. Sorry. God, fuck, I always do this. It's an old car, but I thought it would last fine. It's a good car, you know. I was driving home and all of a sudden I started losing power. Like, not a lot of power. There's less oomph. The power steering wasn't working properly. And then when I parked it, I noticed the brakes weren't working very well. There you are. The next day I went to start the car and it wouldn't start. Long story short, take it to my mechanic. He calls me back later and says, Eddie, your car's fucked. The engine's gone. It's done. And he's told me a load of bullshit about it. Now look, I'm not good with cars, and I try and take care of this car. I try and get it oil changes when it needs it and stuff. But I'm weird. I do stupid things. You know, I don't know what I did, but I'm sure it's my fault that the car is dead. I probably put fucking milk in the oil tank or something. I like to talk about myself like I'm somebody else that I have a problem with. I'm such a fucking idiot. You know what I'm like. I probably put milk in the oil tank. I could totally see me doing that. I didn't do that. Anyway, the mechanic said, you know, you could probably call someone to tow it away and they might pay you for it for scrap, like junk. So like you might get $250 for it. And I was like, well, that's cool. If I can get $250, I'll be pleased. So I go online this morning and I find the first thing I can find. I can't remember the name of it. I should remember it because they're amazing. You put in your car info and then it tells you how much they'll give you for it with it not working, right? Guess how much I got? No? Okay. 2.5 fucking grand. That's a big difference. Over 10 times what the mechanic had told me it was going to be. Hold on a second. I'm going to take a Diet Coke break this time. This Diet Coke break is sponsored by Brother Jonesy. Oh, fuck me. That's good. By the way, I think I've said before, I hate it. Excuse me, when people eat on their podcasts. And they're like, delicious. I fucking hate that. But when I drink, it's just basically silence. So I think you can fuck off if you have a problem with it. But anyway, so I got 2.5 grand for that. So that takes care of the car rental I now need to have to go to Denver. And that's it. That's the whole goddamn story. That's why the podcast is late today, because I was waiting. I didn't want to start the podcast and get interrupted, so I kind of waited for him to get here. And by the time he came in, it was all done. Excuse me. Excuse me, Christ. Sorry, I just caught sight of some notes for stand-up. And there's different bits, the names of different bits, and one just says Wallfinger. And it took me a while to remember what that was. That's from years ago, about me giving my wife at the time, about how when she pisses me off, I'd have to excuse myself from the room because I didn't want to insult her or swear at her. But then as soon as I got round a corner, I would just give her the finger against the wall as hard as I fucking could. But anyway, car taken care of, $2.5 grand richer, and now I'll get a new car because I've needed a new car for a bloody long time. I've spent years going, I need a new car, I need a new car. But as you know, if you listen to this podcast, I do everything for cheap. So I've been driving around in a heap of shit. Not just the car that just died. The one before wasn't great. The one before that. So I'm going to get a nice car this time. I'm thinking of getting a Bronco, a Ford Bronco. Look that up if you want, you assholes. Now, I just had the hardest shift ever. You know, I work in a brewery, Turtle Mountain Brewing Company. Worked there forever. And tonight it was St. Patrick's Day. And Americans get super excited about St. Patrick's Day, and they all become raging alcoholics. Now, the customers were not the problem. Today it was the kitchen. I don't really want to talk about this. I would rather talk about rugby. But since you asked, how long would you wait in a restaurant before you got pissed off for your food? Because the average wait time today for customers was an hour. And 2 of my tables, after waiting for an hour, I went to check on their food again, and the kitchen had lost their tickets. It was a fucking nightmare of a night. I've already said too much. I don't usually like talking about my personal life unless it's cool rock and roll shit. Not that sad, pathetic, I'm a waiter, I'm a hater, I'm a chronic masturbator bullshit. Let's get on with this, because we've got to dissect. Sorry, force of habit. We've got to dissect the England versus France match. Also, the Six Nations in general, and England. What is it good for? Absolutely something, hopefully. It's Rugby Ranter Banter, episode 284. Let's go. So, let's just get cracking immediately, shall we? I've got some notes here, and I don't know what's going to happen with this. Shit, I meant to talk. I just opened my notes and realized I wanted to talk about this weird little old man I saw. I'll talk about it next week. But I never know how this podcast is going to go, because sometimes I'm really well prepared and then I think it sounds sometimes I'm really well prepared and it turns out like crap. Sometimes I don't prepare at all and it turns out really good. But I've noticed very often when I think I've done a particularly bad one, those are the ones that people message me and say they particularly enjoyed. I don't understand it. It's just part of life's rich tapestry of bullshit, I suppose. It's always the opposite of what I think is how things are. As you can tell from my rugby predictions. Now, I think I predicted, I had said for a couple of weeks that England were going to win this. Now, what did I say last week? I think I said England would win, but I wasn't that confident. I think we probably should have won, but we'll get into that. This Six Nations, it's over, and people are talking about it like it's possibly, some people are saying it's the best Six Nations ever because of the drama, etc. But if you're an England fan, we won one match. Like, I knew it was bad, but I don't think I ever really focused on that. It's the least successful Six Nations campaign in English rugby history. It's a disaster. It's a full-on disaster. I don't care that, I'm just going to say, England's in a bad place for rugby. That was a great game. Okay? It was entertaining and England played really well. So let's look at this match and then I'll get back to shitting all over English rugby. If you're watching on YouTube, I've got a really bad habit of not looking at the lens, partly because I can never remember where it is, but mostly I just look at myself. I've managed to get quite a good angle where I quite like the way I look. But that's probably... Doesn't Doesn't matter. Let's look at some pros and cons from France versus England this last weekend. You watched it. So England finally doing the basics and capitalizing, able to... I was genuinely worried. It's really hard to explain this like huge fall from grace. I'm just going to take this off. Sorry, I'm taking off all my clothes. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see I'm fully naked now. I was really worried about England's huge fall from grace, how we didn't seem capable of the most basic. And this has happened with England before, where they didn't seem to be able to pass the ball down the fucking line. They didn't seem to be able to finish overlaps. They didn't seem to be able to take... They couldn't do anything right. At least not in key areas of the game, and couldn't capitalize. They did that. They looked, honestly, fantastic at times, the way that England should look. I'm going through the pros right now. We looked good. We nearly won. As far as the players go, I've got a bit of a bone to pick with seemingly every English rugby fan. Sometimes I have opinions and I go, well, this is just my opinion. What the fuck do I know? And then you all say, you know nothing. And I get really angry with you. But in this case, so everyone is hyping up Joe Hayes. And that's great. And I like Joe Hayes. And I think he's a really good player and he's doing a good job for England. But people are getting carried away and saying he is our best player. More than one person said that, including Jim Hamilton on the Rugby pod. I think he said that. I hope I'm not lying. I think he benefits from being a tight head prop who doesn't do anything flashy, right? And that's fine. It's exactly what we want. He's doing his job. He's great. I love him. He's scrummaging and he's working hard around the field. He's not carrying the ball very much. He's not running anybody over anytime soon, as opposed to players like Ellis Genge. Ellis Genge is a rampaging beast. Now, here's the thing with Ellis Genge. I will tell you right now, Ellis Genge, in that France match, was better than Joe Hayes. He was better than Joe Hayes the week before as well, against, who was it, Italy? Can't even remember, doesn't matter. Ellis Genge is the victim of extremely high expectations from English rugby fans, as well as another weird phenomenon that I've noticed. After every England loss, they love to take a picture of, I think because he's got that like really whingy kind of like sourpuss mug. You know what I mean? He's always like, he's just got a good, like, he's angry. He looks angry. I've always said he looks, at the best of times, he looks like he's resisting the urge to beat the living shit out of everybody. And when he's happy and smiling, it's even more disturbing. Like, I don't know what that guy does for fun, or I don't know what kind of urges he's fighting in his day-to-day life, but he disturbs me, and I love him. He's one of my favorite players. Now, he's a better player than Joe Hayes. Not that it matters. They play different positions, and they're not competing when they're playing for England. But I've had arguments with multiple people who try and tell me that Joe Hayes is the best player in England, and I say Ellis Genge is better, and they laugh, and I think that's ridiculous. Joe Hayes offers so much more. If Joe Hayes if you look at Ellis Genge offers so much more than Joe Hayes. If you've never seen Ellis Genge before, and he just did what Joe Hayes did, which he can do, by the way, and you must know this, he just scrummaged and ran around and put his weight in mauls and hit rucks and sometimes carried a little bit and made some tackles, right? Everyone would think he's doing a great job all the time. But because it's Ellis Genge, it's because it's the baby rhino, and we know what he's capable of, and he has hit such highs before. When he's not running everybody over, we go, it's the same with Maro Itoje quite a bit, actually. But back to Ellis Genge, if he makes a mistake, if he drops the ball, we make a huge deal out of it. But he's getting the ball so much more than most props would. I just think I think Ellis Genge is still a world-class prop. And he's been playing, you've got to understand, he's been playing in England when England have been total shit as well. So, it's a hard, he's probably, just like Marrow again, probably trying to do too much to save the team. So I just want to say that. That being said, Joe Hayes has had a great Six Nations. I don't think great. He's a good Six Nations in a bad England team. And he's a good player. And he's absolutely our first choice tight head now. But Ellis Genge is our best loose head. And on that note, well, we'll get to, I didn't make a note of it actually, so I'm going to mention it now in case I forget later. I'm not happy with our depth at loose head right now. With Finn Baxter unavailable, I'm not happy with Bevan Rodd. I've said it, he hasn't had a great opportunity, but what I've seen of him coming on, that's not fair. Forget Bevan Rodd. Most of you already didn't want Bevan Rodd playing for England, so I don't know. There's got to be some, I'm trying to think right now, there's got to be, what happened to the, there were some props in the England Saxon squad that looked like they should have been brought up into, it doesn't matter. Okay, I thought Tom Roebuck had a fantastic game against France. God, he's great. I fucking love Tom Roebuck. Stop shitting on him because of one or two not so great games. Ben Spencer as well. Ben Spencer, I don't really hear anyone giving any props to. It's a stupid use of the word props when I'm talking about rugby. I don't hear anyone giving Ben Spencer anywhere near enough credit. He's brilliant. He is such an amazing and underrated scrum half. I thought he had an outstanding game while he was on. And actually, by the way, Van Portfleet was pretty good when he came on too. I have eased off on my concerns about Van Portfleet, which probably means he's going to really fuck us one day. But England's best player right now, and definitely our best player on the day, and I love him so much, is Ollie Chessum. That intercept was an absolute game changer because France were looking like they were about to score. And if they'd scored that, I don't remember what the score was, but if they'd scored that, we were fucked. They would have pulled away, right? He completely changed the momentum with that moment. And it's, sometimes you think an intercept, oh, well, a little bit lucky. He read it brilliantly, and he'd been causing chaos the entire match. And fast, wasn't he fast? God, I love Ollie Chessum. I think he's our best player right now. He's sort of taken over and I really like him at 6. I don't see any reason not to play him at 6 the next time England are playing. I don't remember who we're playing next or when, but let's see, next. Ben Earl, great as well. Again, Ben Earl has been consistently good this season. And I particularly liked seeing him in headgear in this game because it made him look like some kind of special needs, demented psychopath. Did you notice that? There's something about him wearing headgear that makes him kind of like, because he does everything. He's one of those people who's just like really intense all the time when he's on the pitch. He does every little thing. He moves his head quickly. His eyes dart around quickly. With the headgear on, he looked, I'm not going to use the word, but you know what I'm thinking. Jesus Christ. But he's so good at rugby, it's retarded. Tommy Freeman had a good game at 13. Don't you shit on him at 13. And he's an absolute tank now. I swear he's bigger than he's ever been. And he was running people over. He is a big physical threat. That's one of the reasons I like him at 13. Mind you, so is Roebuck on the wings. So, By the way, Marcus Smith. There's a few English players who get way more shit than they deserve. And Marcus Smith has just been... He went from being a lot of people's, including my first choice 10, to being begrudgingly our sort of go-to number 23. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of the rugby brethren are like, well, I suppose he's perfect for 23 if we're going to play with... whatever the number is split, we only have 2 backs. I can never remember the numbers. I've got some kind of weird retardation. I've got to stop saying that, sorry. Our scrums, so our our scrums have been good all 6 nations. And in that's fantastic because our scrums were our Achilles heel for a while. Of course, we haven't been tested by South Africa and they are our nemesis when it comes to those scrums. But nevertheless, it's been a good... Sorry. It's been a good, a fantastic 6 nations for scrummaging for England. But last week, our lineouts were a joke against France. Lineouts, great. Felt so confident in the lineouts. So that was good. I think that's all the pros I want to talk about. Some players looking good. Marrow, I didn't mention Marrow, but he was really good. Really good, I thought. And just still not convinced that he's our best choice as captain, but I don't know. That's sort of none of my business. But let's look at the cons, the negatives. This is going to be a bit of a quicker podcast because it's so late and I just want to get this over with. Cons, I'm looking at my notes. Defense not great after 12 minutes. It was infuriating how Biarre, what's his name? Biarre? I don't know why I'm saying this so weirdly. Lebip. Infuriating how he was able to score so many. And we were not looking great in defense when France were kicking. Every time they kicked, it seemed like he was going to score. It was not good. We got some issues in defense. Caden Murley. I like Caden Murley. I think he's a fun player, a good player. I just don't think he's... I feel bad saying this because he's my kind of a winger. He's fast and explosive and intense, and I love it. I just don't know if he's got the right attributes for international rugby, and it's mostly mental. I'm not saying he's stupid. He's not, but he does seem to have a lot of brain farts, and you can't do that. You know, I mean, he combined with Henry Pollock to lose us the game. I mean, there's no way around it. Henry Pollock, you know, I think he's got balls, but he also balls his things up. Do you know what I mean? Like in that moment. Another way of putting it is he's got bollocks, but sometimes he bollocks things up. I don't want to call this episode Henry's Bollocks. Yes, I do. That's what it's going to be called. And it's a double entendre because it's Henry has bollocks, but Henry is also bollocks. Because he, really quickly to recap what every rugby podcast has talked about, anyone who thinks in those last few minutes it was the wrong decision for Van Portfleet to kick the ball away, I don't want to insult you, but I mean, like, it was way too much time to just try and recycle the ball, keep hold of the ball in your own 22. You're asking for a penalty. Absolutely had to kick it deep. The kick chase was good, but then who missed the tackle? Oh, I'll get into that in a minute. There was a couple of missed tackles, Jalibert running through, and then we get the turnover. Was it Pollock who got the turnover? Brilliant. Whoever it was, doesn't matter. He ends up with the ball, and it's one of those things where you're like, it's a ballsy thing to do. If he'd have got the ball to Murley, and Murley had run around everyone and scored, it would have been the right thing to do. But it wasn't the right thing to do because he didn't have the fucking skill to do it. He fucked it up. He threw it on the floor. This is Henry Pollock. He fucked us. But then Caden Murley just drop on the fucking ball. He fucking fly hacks it. It ricochets. We lose. And going back to that kick chase and the Jalibert step, it was Seb Atkinson who got stepped way too easily. And nobody wants to shit on Seb Atkinson after 2 games. But I'm going to have to because he didn't look good against Italy. And in this game where England did look good, I saw him make a few mistakes. I didn't make notes. I can't remember, but I was not impressed. I could be wrong. But, we've been through this with Fraser Dingwall, who is still not, it's not like we'll never see him for England again. We could very well, and I wouldn't be against it. But I was never comfortable with him being an England centre. I always said, I don't think he's the answer. I don't think he's got what it takes. And he shut me up to some degree because I started enjoying a lot of his performances. But I always said he was a little bit undersized, blah, 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 blah. He had a bad game against Italy. I don't think we've seen the last of him. But Seb Atkinson, sometimes I'm right. And I just think this is one of those times where I do not believe that he's the answer. And infuriating that what's his name? Max Ajoma was not in the England squad. Has not had any time to play in this Six Nations. He would have been so much. I mean, you can't tell me that Seb Atkinson is better than Max Ajoma. You can't. I mean, you can, but I won't believe you. And that gets so. Just to round this out, another Diet Coke break. This time sponsored by whoever agreed. I think it was Ben Bierkan, but it might have been someone else. Someone agreed that it was fucking annoying when I do this. It is annoying. God, it's the at the end, isn't it? Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Oh, another con. Finn Smith's goal kicking. I love Finn Smith. I've been saying, I'll hold my hand up and say I've been saying he should have been England's starting 10 ever since he came back from the Lions. This whole Six Nations, he should have been starting. And I stand by that. I do think he is probably the best. But you know what? I feel a bit of an idiot because I think I started... Did I start saying this and I never finished it? Marcus Smith, the most unfairly maligned... Is that the right word? I've got to check that. I'm feeling really stupid right now. I hope you can forgive me for that. This better be recording, and it is. Okay. Let's see, maligned. No, doesn't. Yeah, it was the right word. Speak malign. Speak about someone in a spitefully critical manner. He's the most unfairly maligned rugby player in England. Because as I was starting to say earlier, I can't believe I remembered to get back to this. If I can finish my thought process. People loved him, hyped him up. Not everybody, but I did, and a lot of other people. And then all of a sudden, he's this like, well, he's a good 23. And now you got people who are like really dead set against him starting for England. Now, I will say, it is true that we got 3 really good fly halves. George Ford, Marcus Smith, Finn Smith. My choice is Finn Smith, but to be honest with you, Marcus might be the most talented. And he's a victim of his own athleticism. That's why he keeps getting used as a super sub. But I don't know. I think the real problem is that we haven't had a real first choice fly half. We got these 3, and we're never really sure who our best 10 is. And that is, I mean, the only person you can blame for that is Steve Borthwick. Yes, he's under a lot of pressure he was under a lot of pressure to drop George Ford after that match against whoever. Sorry, I'm getting so tired right now. But if you're the England manager, pressure shouldn't affect you. You should know who your starting 10 is, and you should pick them. And I don't think you should fuck around too much with them. So, on that note, listen. I was super happy with that performance against France, as I'm sure most of you were. England. I mean, I was just happy that England were able to look like a real rugby team and could score tries and hustle and come this close to being the team that actually ended up winning the Six Nations. But 1 game from 5 is completely unacceptable. There is no excuse. There is no excuse for it. And I think Borthwick, for all I know, Borthwick is the right guy for the job. I was listening to Andy Good, at the very least, heavily implying that the players kind of rebelled against his game plan to put in this performance. If that's true, then he definitely has to go immediately. But it might not be true. And it may well be that Steve Borthwick has this incredible master plan and things, there are narrow... whatever the phrase is, in Six Nations rugby, there's a fine line between winning and losing a lot of the time. But at the end of the day, as I said, to only beat Wales, to lose to France, Scotland, Ireland, and Italy, the worst result we've ever had, losing to Italy for the first time, looking like a fucking joke almost every game. And I'll say it again, that first game that we won against Wales, we looked shit. I wasn't happy with that. This one game, fantastic, great, awesome. It's too little too late. I think I would definitely immediately get rid of him and bring someone else in. Who would I bring in? I don't know. There's no good options for me. If I had my way, I mean, the best option probably would be Andy Farrell coming back and coaching England. But I just don't see that happening. And that would be weird, wouldn't it, for the Irish? But he is fucking English. He's played for England. I tell you who I don't want. Fucking Michael Checker. You want a toxic environment and a miserable, whining bastard. And what has he actually won? Am I going to sound stupid now? Has he won some big titles? I feel like he hasn't. Maybe he won something in Europe at some point. Did he win something in Super Rugby as a coach? I've just seen him involved. My image of all I've ever seen Michael Cheika do is sit on the sideline going, oh, what the fuck? Oh, what the fuck's going on? Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Just whinging and moaning and then not really getting any results. Don't want him, don't want Robbie Deans. I don't actually want any Southern Hemisphere coaches because I want somebody who understands English rugby and somebody who understands the Premiership and knows the players in the Premiership. If I was going to get a foreign coach, it doesn't matter. I'm just rambling now. I suppose I'd like, as I said, I think Andy Farrell would probably be the best, but I would be very happy with Rob Baxter, sorry, Jesus Christ. Al Baxter was an Australian prop back in the day. Rob Baxter would be good. Mark McCall would be good. Or just let Lee Blackett take over completely. I don't even give a shit, but it's not working with Borthwick. Now, don't get me wrong. They're saying they're going to stick with him. And if they do, I will want nothing but the best for him and England. And I would love for him to prove me wrong. But anyway, that's it. I've recorded long enough. It's not, how long have I recorded for? My little timer is hidden here. It's going to be like a half-hour podcast. That's good enough. I want to make sure I didn't forget anything. That's good enough. Fuck it. Thanks for listening / watching if you did on YouTube. Make sure if you didn't watch on YouTube, check it out. I am fully naked right now, and I've been erect for a quarter of the podcast. Fully erect, fully aroused, which is very difficult to do. Follow me on Twitter. No, I'm not on Twitter. Sorry, that was weird, wasn't it? I haven't had to say that in years. Follow me on Instagram at Eddie Stevens Massive. Follow me on Facebook at Eddie Stevens. Follow me on TikTok if you're a raging homosexual or just someone who wants to check me out because it's not really gay or sexual anymore. At Eddie Stevens 0. That's it. I will be back next week. Oh, Premiership. Thank God. If I'd had time, I would have prepared it and looked at the upcoming fixtures. I didn't. Fuck it. I'm going. Bye.